Hello everybody, this is Elizabeth Weaver and this is my presentation on Chairman Mao. And you'll have to forgive me because I cannot pronounce the Chinese names. So, anywho, Mao Zedong was born December 26, 1893 to a rich farmer. His father was a harsh disciplinarian and his mother was a devout Buddhist who tried to temper her husband's harsh attitude. Mao attended primary school from age 8 to 13, at which time his father married him off to the daughter of another rich landowner. Mao never recognized her as his wife, being opposed to arranged marriages. At age 16, Mao convinced his father to send him to a school in Changsha. He remained there for 8 years and in 1921 helped establish the Communist Party in Changsha. As secretary of the party, he helped recruit and inform new members. When the Communists proposed allying with the Kuomintang, another political group in China that was opposed to the Japanese, Mao was elected to the party committee. Later, he was elected to the 5-member Central Land Committee. Mao did not follow orders from his superiors very well, and he favored guerrilla tactics over more conventional methods as the Chinese fought the Japanese. In 1927, the Communist Party Central Committee decided to punish Mao for focusing on rural rather than urban revolutionary activities. However, Mao simply ignored them and set up a base in Jinggangsha, Shan, uniting 5 villages and later forming an alliance with General Zhu Du. The party Central Committee experienced some upheaval, and with the change of leadership, Mao was reinstated and named chairman of the Council of People's Commissioners. However, he no longer had control of the army, and the new leaders were total idiots and merely destroyed the Communist army, forcing them into a long retreat known as the Long March. Mao officially became head of the Communist Party in 1935 during the Long March, mainly because he was literally the only member in the leadership competent enough to lead the army in their retreat. The Red Army arrived in Yan'an in October, and it became Mao's headquarters for several years. After World War II, the Communists re-engaged the Kuomintang and began to wage civil war again. In 1949, Communist forces surround the last Kuomintang forces, which were occupying the city of Changchun, and starved them out. A lieutenant colonel compared the siege to Hiroshima. The casualties were about the same. Hiroshima took 9 seconds, Changchun took 5 months. The People's Republic of China was established October 1st, 1949, with Mao Zedong at its head. The republic was the accumulation of over 2 decades of civil war. In Mao's first 10 years of government, he organized the land reform campaign and the campaign to suppress counter-revolutionaries. The estimated number of deaths for both of these campaigns is around 2 to 5 million people, with at least 1.5 million sent to labor camps, where as many perished. If you're into comparison, that was as many Chinese as Jews killed in the Holocaust, and that was only the beginning. The Great Leap Forward is actually Mao's second 5-year plan aimed at increasing industry. Thousands of peasants were ordered to work on industrial projects, including many schoolchildren. Unfortunately, he forgot that if the farmers were all working with steel, there's no one there to plant the food, and as a result, a huge widespread famine killed over 30 million Chinese. To put this into perspective, remember that 30 million hours ago, Moses was freeing the Israelites. The Cultural Revolution was Mao's next major move. It was aimed at the younger generation and against anything traditional. It was extremely successful among the children, but it led to the loss of much of the Chinese heritage. It also led to much violence, as children were encouraged to report any suspicious actions of their elders to the police, who subsequently arrested and often executed the disloyal citizens. This policy also drove many to suicide rather than risk betrayal by their loved ones. Mao suffered from poor health for the last few years of life, and on September 2nd, 1976, he suffered a heart attack that hospitalized and put him on life support. Finally, on September 9th, he was allowed to die. He left his 4th wife, 10 children, and the country in chaos, as he had provided for no successor. Eventually, he was succeeded by someone whose name I cannot pronounce. And this is a slide of some very interesting and disturbing things I found out about him. And so, one of the things is that he abandoned 2 babies in towns along the Long March because they slowed them down. He divorced his 2nd wife when she was recovering in Moscow after a shrapnel injury received during the Long March. The children of the Cultural Revolution worshipped him as practically a god, and he encouraged art, but only as a means of forwarding the revolution and not as a means of personal expression. His policy was, war can only be abolished through war, and in order to get rid of the gun, it is necessary to take up the gun. And political power grows out of the barrel of the gun. And as a direct result of his actions, over 79 million people were killed. This does not include those who died of starvation, etc. Including those, the figure is closer to 120 million. And these were his own people, which is really messed up. So, yeah.